Next part, we had Kane versus Randy Orton in what was, well, all right, first off, very bland entrances, which went through the whole pay per view. Everybody had a very bland entrance when it comes to WrestleMania.
I think
And a very
everyone except
gay
for
outfit.
HBK.
It,
HBK was so excited he was running in circles.
like, I don't even remember if Kane had any fucking fire.
He did.
It's like
Yeah, the post said fire.
the normal thing. Well, that's
Yeah.
fucking nothing. It's WrestleMania. Come on. Especially when, and I'll bring this up a bunch of times. They apparently spent $500,000 on pyro, and God
They
knows
saved
where
it
the
all for
fuck
The Rock.
I don't know where they put it because
It was
throughout
behind the stadium. There was actually fireworks going off during most of the entrances.
really because they didn't get any of them on camera.
Probably not. HBK's pyro failed too.
Yeah, all you could hear was a couple pops, and that was about it. But
Hmm.
like I was making fun of it during the pay per view because it was just like, oh yeah, the pyro of
Well,
some guy on a fucking speaker going. That's fucking it. Like,
yeah, and you even at the beginning of the show, usually they do the big shot of the opening pyro by the stage,
mhm.
and there was not even no opening pyro this year. Was it? I'm guessing it was because the seats were so close behind
Hmm.
the actual wording
A
at
lot
the
of the
top of the
pyro
stage.
was on the top of the stadium, the like the opening to the bowl, and outside behind the ramp, like legit fireworks you would see at the Fourth of July, not like pyro. And none of it was. Most of it, like I said, is outside of the stadium. Very few things went off in stadium. The basically the Undertaker's flames, which were hot as hell from where I was sitting, and I was nowhere near. Like I was near the stage, but I wasn't behind it. It was ridiculous.
But that they both had, of course, their very bland entrances. Orton walking down very slowly, taking up a hell of a long time. But uh, in general, generic match. Mostly side slams and headlocks. It didn't come off well at all on camera, as far as I'm concerned. It was the equivalent of a mid card filler match on a mid like a B level pay per view. If they would have had this match at Over the Limit, it would have been one of those matches that we still wouldn't have even talked about, let alone something that's supposed to be WrestleMania worthy. But
I was saying that on my vlog. I don't believe it's going to be one of those matches that anyone's going to actually be talking about.
Did you ever think
Um,
it was to begin with? I mean,
no, the
no,
feud was
especially
lackluster. The
without
whole,
a gimmick, it's oof, that was one ugly looking matchup from the get go.
yeah, the booking of this angle was sort of like thrown together at the last minute. So we knew that people weren't really going to give a shit in the first place.
right. I mean, it was like you said, haphazardly thrown together. Nothing really, no steam behind it for the feud. And I don't know if these two really would necessarily work well together, but they definitely need a stipulation, and they need more than no DQ because they just did that on SmackDown, and I didn't even think that that was really anything noteworthy. But hopefully this feud dies as soon as possible, and they could just move on to something else.
Yeah, it's the thing is, I don't have a huge issue with the feud as long as they book it properly, and they can't even do that. And because I just threw it together to give these two something to do, makes it even worse. With Kane, he just finished getting beaten the shit out of by Cena and made to look like a pussy after molesting Zack Ryder. Um, and then you throw him in a feud with Orton, which no one gave a shit about. No one wanted to see. Yeah, it was given more time than the 18-second World Heavyweight Championship match. So people were still pissed. The crowd failed to acknowledge it. No one really wanted to watch it. There was even a few people turning their back on it.
Well, Dace, what was the crowd doing during this match?
It was kind of dead. I know I was still tweeting about how pissed off I was about the Bryan match, and just watching it back and forth, the crowd really wasn't involved, and I had noticed a lot of people were leaving to go, I guess, to the concessions. And a weird thing that happened, and I don't know if you guys can notice this on camera, that stadium was actually empty for about the first 2 hours of WrestleMania, up until about the Hell in the Cell.
Really?
And oh yeah, the one side. Well, actually, you know why? You probably didn't notice it. The camera side, where the camera was physically at, there was a whole section empty
Huh.
because nobody
Wow.
cared about that lower card but they all sure as hell showed up when the Hell in a Cell started. I enjoyed the match mainly because how much worse could this card possibly get after that 18-second match? But I did notice there's a lot of people walking out to get concessions, not too many people in their seats yet, and overall the crowd was dead. Like they killed that crowd early and quick.
And then they didn't put any kind of life into it to help them out.
No.
Because, I mean, this and then the next match, and we'll
Yeah,
keep
look
going.
what followed
But,
this afterward, right? Like, oh,
yeah. Well, what followed this afterward was the Deadliest Catch segment. So, I mean, we talked about that already, but
yeah,
The
I
crowd
can't.
got behind that.
really? Idiots.
Well, mainly because of Ron Simmons.
Oh, okay. I could see cheering for Ron, but
And probably because of Foley as well.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But
Foley
They
is
popped for
God.
Foley, and everybody was on the edge of the seats waiting for the dam. And as soon as the dam happened, that was a pretty loud pop.
But
And then after
yeah,
that, we had, what, another commercial, I think? But anyway,
Yeah.
what were you saying, Brady?
anyway, as for the match, like, it was just kind of meh, just kind of okay, and just sort of there. And that's the biggest issue. I mean, this is supposed to be what the like your biggest stacked card of the year, and then you just have Orton and Kane, and nobody gives a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think you just hit the nail on the head there, Braden. Um, this is supposed to be WrestleMania. It's supposed to be the biggest card of the year. Did it feel like a WrestleMania to any one of you?
No.
Like, ah, there you
It
go.
going.
Kind of for me, but I was there. That's why.
Yeah, everything's upgraded when you're live.
Yeah,
Well,
you got
for
goosebumps
me,
when they were announcing it.
the card had potential, but like WrestleMania 26, not as worse than that though. It didn't live up to its full potential at all due to a lot of bad booking decisions.
Yeah,
Mm.
So
because we were saying that on the chat as well. Me and Tony were just getting so underwhelmed by the pay per view as a whole. One of the things that was underselling it was not just because that 18 seconds thing. It's more or less because a lot of the feuds that were booked on there, no one gave a shit about because they were booked on the cuff. Orton and Kane was booked on the cuff. The Divas match was booked on the cuff. And then they had all these stupid commercials. And there's no way you can justify paying all that money to get literally undersold. Like the second half maybe it may be able to justify it, but the first half, no, not at all.
Well, we will talk about the next part that really kept the sinking ship continually sinking in whatever part we're on now, part 5, when we talk about the Intercontinental Championship match.